Делегація парламентського комітету закордонних справ Канади повернулася додому після історичних слухань про стан прав людини в Україні, де їй не дозволено відвідати Юлію Тимошенко. Зараз нам розповість про це Боб Деккерт, парламентський секретар Міністерства закордонних справ.
Після повернення цієї державної делегації до Канади конференція українських державницьких організацій влаштувала в Торонті громадську зустріч із місцевими членами канадського парламенту, щоб обговорити становище уряду Канади про події в Україні. Заки почалася зустріч, ми приступили до голови парламентської делегації пана Боб Деккерт.
It was lovely to be in Ukraine. It's a beautiful country and the people are very nice. But of course, we were very disappointed that we didn't have the opportunity to meet with Mrs. Tymoshenko. We wanted to see the circumstances in which she's being held. We wanted to ask her if she's getting the medical treatment that she needs. And we also just wanted to let her know that Canadians were concerned about her and thinking about her. And we hope and pray for her release very soon.
Делегація парламентського комітету складалася із членів всіх партій канадського парламенту. І ми по комп'ютеру сконтактувалися із колишнім міністром ліберального уряду, доброго приятеля української громади із Саскачевану Ральф Гудел про стан здоров'я пані Тимошенко.
In terms of her physical condition, I think the evidence is disturbing. Her problem, as I understand it, is a very severe back problem. She is under the independent medical attention now of a German doctor, and that's good news. But still, she's in a hospital that does not have the equipment that is necessary to give her the kind of care she needs. The German doctor, as I understand it, would like to take her to his own clinic in Germany and treat her properly there with the right equipment. That, of course, is being refused. So he is there to provide her the assistance that he can in the hospital in Kharkiv. And her condition is obviously, from a physical point of view, is not good. The doctor's doing the best he can, but she's not in a position to receive the care that she ought to receive. Politically, she seems to be very vigorous. Two or three of the major parties in the opposition and 5 or 6 other parties are trying very hard to pull themselves together so that they can be a strong, common fighting force in the elections in the fall. And obviously the direction to do that, the encouragement to do that, is coming from Ms. Tymoshenko. And hopefully all of those parties can find the way to collaborate to be a very effective opposition.
Боб Деккерт підкреслив, що відносно демократії в Україні не все добре, і що чесне проведення парламентських виборів в Україні дуже загрожене.
We heard some troubling things when we were there, our committee, from many witnesses in Kiev, Kharkiv and Lviv, about manipulations of the electoral law, concerns that the parliamentary elections later this year might not be free, fair, and transparent. So we've sent some pretty stern messages to the current government in Ukraine that we expect those elections to be free, fair, and transparent, and that Canada will be providing both long-term and short-term election observers and monitors in very significant numbers to ensure that the elections are free and fair. And we also are concerned about the selective prosecution of certain people for their political activities. Obviously, Mrs. Tymoshenko is the most well-known example, but there's also Mr. Lutsenko, Mr. Ivashenko, and many others. And so we call on the government of Ukraine to respect human rights and rule of law and to stop selectively prosecuting people for their political views.
Ральф Гудел підкреслив негативну опінію, яку на міжнародній арені витворює сьогодні діяльність президента Януковича.
Just a month or so ago, for example, there was to be a meeting of Eastern European leaders in Ukraine, hosted by Mr. Yanukovych, and the leaders from other countries refused to come. And that obviously delivered a message. The Euro Cup the big soccer tournament is just about to be held. And while the teams are coming and the fans are coming, and it's held in several different cities in Ukraine and also in a number of places in Poland. But the heads of state that normally attend to cheer on their respective teams are not going to attend for those events in Ukraine. Again, delivering a message.
Господар Українського дому Петро Кардаш привітав гостей і представив присутніх голів організацій, які прийняли участь в організації цієї зустрічі.
In addition, the presidents of the local branches of CCSU include and are present tonight Jurij Klufas. We also have with us tonight other national and local leaders of the organized Ukrainian Canadian community, including Paul Grod, National President of the Ukrainian Canadian Council, Mykola Koshik, National President of the Society of UPA Veterans, Ukrainian Insurgent Army, National Lisa Shimko, National Vice President of the League of Ukrainian Canadian Women and Chair of the Canada-Ukraine Parliamentary Center, Ulana Grod, National President of the Ukrainian Youth Association of Canada, Bob Onishchuk, President of Canada-Ukraine Foundation, Oksana Reva, President of the Toronto chapter of the Ukrainian Canadian Congress, and Igor Kozak.
Голова парламентської делегації Боб Декерт ясно розповів деталі поїздки до України і слухань про стан прав людини в Україні, проведених в Києві, Харкові та у Львові. Всі були особливо заскочені порушенням Конституції та невірне судівництво.
I can tell you we've heard some very troubling things. We've heard that there is a set of electoral laws that were passed by the Parliament of Ukraine, and although everyone admits they're not perfect, their view is that they were agreed to by all parties and they should be enforced. And we've heard that the constitutional courts in Ukraine are systematically changing and amending those rules in a way that would favor the current governing party of Ukraine. The judiciary in Ukraine is not as independent as we would like, and that's to put it mildly. Canada is supporting a program where Canadian judges are visiting Ukraine, meeting with their counterparts, and trying to instill in them a sense of independent judiciary that we have here that has been absent in Ukraine, but is absolutely necessary for a free democracy. Need to have respect for the rule of law and an independent judiciary. We've heard about, as you know, Ukraine is moving from a total party list system to a system where 50% of the MPs will be elected by party lists and 50% will be elected in the way that we are as representing particular constituencies. And the drawing up of those boundaries is again subject to a lot of political manipulation. We heard about that as well. And we heard a lot about corruption in the economy and throughout government.
Боб Декерт в імені Канади виступив проти політичного судівництва і ув'язнень політичної опозиції в Україні.
Mrs. Tymoshenko, Mr. Lutsenko, Mr. Ivashenko, they all have serious medical problems that are not being properly addressed and that they need to be addressed immediately by the Ukrainian government. And fourthly, that we expect to see them released, and we ask for Mrs. Tymoshenko to be released, and that the selective prosecution of people for their political activities in Ukraine be ended immediately as well. And so we've got that message across. Our Minister of Foreign Affairs, John Baird, has said it. Our Prime Minister has said it. We're going to keep saying it. We're going to say it in Canada. We're going to say it in the United Nations. We're going to say it in every international forum that we have an opportunity to participate in.
Наступний доповідач Брайан Тротьє порівняв розвиток демократії в Грузії до того, що діється в Україні, і що варто мати ці порівняння і загрозу Росії на увазі, коли стежимо за розвитком демократії в краях колишнього Радянського Союзу. Останній доповідач Тед Опиц підсумував важливість громадської активності в обороні демократії в Україні. Для зацікавлених повідомляємо, що консервативна партія вирішила апелювати до Верховного суду справу невизначеності виборів в окрузі Etobicoke Center. Особливе признання належить організаторам вечора конференції українських державницьких організацій за включення молодих кадрів у проведенню цієї зустрічі і тим самим нагоду вивчати і включатися у політичні процеси Канади на користь демократії і України.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to now ask Zenon Chij to guide our discussion of the issues raised tonight. Zenon is a member of the National Executive of the League of Ukrainian Canadians and sits on the board of the LUC Etobicoke-Mississauga branch. He also is a leading member of the Ukrainian Youth Association of Canada Etobicoke branch. Zenon.
Thank you, Mr. Stesiu, and a heartfelt thank you to our members of Parliament, Mr. Trottier, Mr. Deckert, Mr. Opitz. I think that the single most important thing that we can do as Ukrainian Canadians is show the Ukrainian people that we're here and we're listening, and they have an ear here in Canada. So for that reason, I think that the work that our parliamentarians are doing are truly beyond measure.